Hey everybody, my name is Kim Anderson. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and most importantly, welcome to your yoga practice. I am really glad that you've decided to come move a little bit today, and we're going to really get down and dirty into our hips. So working on hip mobility, hip flexibility, and as well as our shoulders a little bit. But this is a practice where, as always, I really stress the need to listen to what your body is communicating. And just because you've done a position before doesn't mean that today it's going to be accessible. Just because you've never done a position before doesn't mean that it's not accessible. So really just feeling where you're stable, where things feel good, where you feel like things are challenging, where you feel like things are too much. Challenging is good. Too much is not. So you should never be feeling pain, but sometimes feeling discomfort is actually a really good practice of trying to stay in the discomfort, breathe into it, and see if you can maybe start to open up the doorways where you've got a bit of a block, and you can breathe your way into it, release a little bit of tension, and find that you can go a little bit deeper or maybe gain a little bit more mobility. So again, listening always to yourself. I will guide you through the practice, but you are your own teacher, ultimately. So with that said, we can get started. So put on some comfy clothes, grab your mat, or if not, you can do this on your carpet, wherever you want, and I will see you there. So go ahead and come onto your mat into a comfortable seated position, cross-legged, and of course you have the option always to sit yourself up on a block or a cushion if that's a little bit more comfortable. Bring your hands gently to your knees with your palms facing up, and begin to close your eyes. Feel your shoulders drop back and down away from your ears without exaggerating, so keeping everything nice and soft, especially your face and your expression. And to help ourselves arrive fully, let's take right away a deep inhale into our nose. Try to fill up every space possible in your body. And then out of your mouth, exhale everything out. And as you exhale, note what happens in your body. If maybe you begin to kind of curve yourself forward, you feel that you're tending downward, and begin on your next inhale to lengthen through your spine. Start to draw your belly button in and feel the strength in your core that's helping to hold you up and lengthen you even more. Feel your neck growing long, and it's like you're trying to push the crown of your head up toward the ceiling, but at the same time, without lifting your shoulders up. So keep them, instead of crunching up next to your ears, again, keep them dropping down and toward the back. And giving your neck lots of space. Belly button pulling in nice and strong. And again, this time without losing this height that we've gained, begin to inhale into your nose. And again, exhale everything out of your mouth, but staying tall in your spine. And we're going to do one more. Inhaling deeply into your nose, feeling space being created in your spine. It's lengthening still even more. Crown of head up toward the ceiling. Relax the expression on your face as you exhale and relax. And then gently close your lips, close your jaw without clenching your teeth, and begin to make some small circles with your shoulders. So bringing your shoulders up toward your ears, gently back, down, and then toward the front. Feeling your spine still nice and tall while you do this. And then after a few times, you're going to change directions. So doing some shoulder circles in the opposite direction. And if you haven't already, you could begin to blink your eyes open, sweep your hands up to the sky and look up toward your hands. Push your palms together and squeeze. And then on an exhale, open your arms wide, sweep your arms in front of you, and try to align your elbows. So pushing toward the outside with your palms and feeling a nice opening in your upper back. And now this time as you inhale, arms like a cactus, squeeze that space that you were just opening up, right between your shoulder blades. You can puff your heart forward, lengthen your throat, and look up to the sky if you'd like. And then exhaling, sweeping your arms out and in front of you, this time aligning the left elbow above your right elbow, the opposite of what we just did. And again, finding that space in between your shoulder blades. Stay active in your feet, so we're not moving our legs right now, but keep your whole body activated. On an inhale, again, opening up like a football goalpost or like a cactus, whatever you prefer as your visual image. Inhaling to push your heart forward, spread your fingers wide, spread your toes wide, and try to squeeze in that area between your shoulder blades. And then exhale. This time, just sweep your arms forward and pretend you've got an invisible ball in between your hands, and you want to pop it. So you've got this invisible balloon, and you're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Again, opening that area between your shoulder blades. And if you'd like to round a little bit forward to make that even more pronounced, then do that, but keep your belly button pulling in. Everything is super active here. Inhale, bring your hands up toward the sky. And then exhale, roll forward, coming onto hands and knees. And you can keep the toes of your feet pushing into the mat here. Align your wrists underneath your shoulders and do a little bit of wiggling. So there's really no special formula here, just trying to get a little bit of movement going in your hips, your shoulders. So without being bashful, just start to move a little bit of everything. And it doesn't matter how it looks, it matters what it feels like. And as we're beginning to move in this practice, breathing deeply in and out through your nose and trying to keep it nice and steady, your breathing. Really deep breaths that are as slow as possible, but of course let them come at the pace that they need to. And then coming back to the center. So pushing strongly into your hands, your fingers are spread wide, pushing into your knees and your toes. Begin to inhale, feel your belly button dropping down, but you haven't lost that action. So you're still pulling your belly button back toward your spine, but you're letting it shift down toward the mat. So your body becomes like a hammock that's making its way down. At the same time, activate your hands in the direction of your knees in the direction of your hands, and pull your heart forward as you push your bum toward the back of the mat. Belly is nice and strong. This is all on an inhale, but if you're on your second inhale, that's fine. And then exhale, start to pull your pubic bone in, rounding everything, opening up between your shoulder blades. Let your gaze drop down in between your knees. Great, and we're going to do that 2 more times. So inhaling as you come down with your belly, gazing forward, lengthen your throat, pull your shoulders back. And then exhale as you begin to draw your pubic bone in and open everything up in your back body. One more time, inhaling as your belly drops. Keep your elbows softly bent as you pull your hands toward your knees. And then exhale, rounding your spine. This time, as you inhale, your belly drops down, look forward, pull your heart forward, feel that lengthening in your abs. And then as you exhale, still dragging your hands in the direction of your knees, you're going to slowly shift your bum toward your heels. So it's like you're a cat that's about to pounce on a flower or something in front of you of interest. And then inhale, round your spine, come forward when your shoulders are aligned with your wrists. Then exhale, feel that fluid motion as your belly drops and you slide your way back into the cat pounce position. Inhale as you round forward, and then softly bending your elbows. Exhale as you shift yourself back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, this time as you shift back, start to activate your toes, pushing them into the mat, and lift up your knees, lengthening your legs, lengthening your arms, coming into downward facing dog. So going slowly into this first inversion. Heart is above head. Begin to pedal out your legs. So softly bending one knee and then the other. Keep a soft bend in your elbows. That's going to make sure that your arms stay nice and active. And then as you're pedaling your legs, start to get a little bit of hip movement in there. So shifting, and again, there's no right formula, but just shifting your hips wherever they would like to shift to start to feel a little bit of movement. So we're poking and prodding to say hello to our hips. And then coming back to center. Feeling nice and grounded into your hands and into your feet. Inhale. As you inhale, feel the space between your hands and your armpits, as well as in between your feet and your hips, and your tailbone shifting up to the sky. And then exhale, really pushing feet and hands into the mat. Your heels are lengthening toward the mat, but it doesn't matter if they actually make their way down there. That's just the direction that we want them to go in, so you can get a lot of lengthening in your back legs. Now from here, begin to gaze toward your hands, lift up onto your tippy toes, and start to, if possible, walk on your tiptoes slowly, your feet up toward your hands. And if you need to walk on flat feet, that's fine too. Folding forward, take a nice inhale as you lift yourself halfway, shooting the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back. And then exhale as you fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bring your hands onto your hips. Try to make your elbows magnetize toward each other behind your back, lengthening your spine, the crown of your head going forward. Keep your chin softly making its way toward your chest as you hinge yourself up to come into a standing position. And then you're going to shift your right foot behind you to come into a slight wide leg position with your feet parallel. And from here, you can slightly shift your heels more toward the outside and your toes gently toward the inside. So it gives you a little bit more stability, but really push into the outside of your feet. And bend your knees softly. From here, on an inhale, lengthen your hands up to the sky. And then exhale, fold yourself forward and let the crown of your head drop its way down toward the mat. Now, you can adjust your feet wherever you need. So if your feet are wider apart and the crown of your head is coming to the mat, just walk your feet a little bit closer. And the reason for that is so your spine can continue with this elongation. If your head comes to the ground, then you're not going to continue to elongate. You're going to be stopped because the ground is there. And you can play around with widening your feet as well to see how it feels, but keeping a soft bend in your knees. And then from here, you can maybe start to sway back and forth. Gently, with your face soft, your jaw relaxed. And then coming back to the center, inhale, lifting up halfway, your hands below your shoulders, your crown of your head pushing forward. Exhale, walk your hands toward your left foot and line them up. So you've got left foot, left hand, and right hand all in a line. You can stay on your fingertips here. Inhale, lengthen into your right side body. So you're going to feel a little bit of expansion, a little bit of space in between your right ribs. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to push your ribs more toward the right, more outward, and just feeling into that a little bit. I know it feels probably a little awkward. Just try to perceive the different sensations that come. Inhale, coming back up and walking yourself to the other side. So walking now, your hands, which are about shoulders distance apart, and aligned with your right foot. Inhale to get some length in your spine and your left side body, and then exhale, begin to push the space where your left ribs are more toward the left, and you'll feel even a little bit of stretch coming into your left armpit. And again, just feeling the sensations. Feeling some spaces open up and breathing into it. And then gently walking back to the center. Inhale to lift yourself up halfway, and then exhale, walk your hands toward the top of the mat and turn both of your feet to face the top of the mat. So your left foot forward, right foot back, and gently bring yourself down onto your right knee. Now from here, with your hands aligned on either side of your left foot, you can come up onto fingertips, or if you find you need a little bit more space, you can also put your hands on 2 blocks. Now you're going to really pull your heart forward, feel the lengthening in your right hip flexor, so you're pushing your right knee down into the mat and trying to kind of drag it forward on an inhale. And then as we exhale, you're going to gently shift your bum toward your right heel in the direction of the back of the mat as you lift your left toes. Now, while you do this, you don't need to jam your left leg straight. That's not what we're looking to do. Keep a soft bend in your left leg and just really continue this elongation by pulling your left hip in the direction of the back of the mat and really pushing into your left heel. Then on an inhale, you're going to replace your left foot and we're going to shift forward again. So lengthening into the right hip flexor. And then exhale, sliding our hips back and lifting the left toes. And we're going to do that one more time. So inhaling, and it's almost like you're trying to pull your left foot back, and that's what's helping to shift your body forward. And then exhale as we lengthen, pushing into our left heel and lengthening our left hip toward the back of the mat. From here, inhale, come back onto your left foot, bending your left leg, lift your right knee and turn your right foot parallel to the back of the mat. From here, walk your hands back to the center. So just like we did before, and parallel your feet. This time, inhale, pushing into the outside of your feet, keep your right hand on the ground as you lengthen your spine. And then exhale, begin to rotate toward the left, lifting your left hand up toward the ceiling. Now you can stay here, or you can continue spiraling your left arm behind you. So going behind your back, and then your left hand can either stay in a fist on your tailbone, or it can kind of wiggle its way to grab your pants, your shorts, or the inside of your right thigh. And inhaling, let the crown of your head push forward. And then as you exhale, begin to fold forward a little bit. And you can leave your right hand on the ground for support. Or if you feel like you've got the space, you can begin to lift your right hand and take your right hand to the outside of your left calf, your left ankle. And then you can use your right hand to help pull yourself, always gently. So when I say pull, I don't mean to yank, but just delicately help the rotation of your body, and you can begin to look up toward the ceiling with your eyes. Again, if you want to keep your right hand on the mat, then you do that. Gently look down, and then release your hands, bringing both hands to the mat below you. From here, turn your right toes toward the back angle of your mat. So your right foot's in a 45 degree, and you're going to walk your hands toward it as you lift your left toes. So you're rolling on to your left heel, your right arm pushing into the inside of your right leg, and feel the soft bend in your left knee. So it's like you're trying to pull your left heel toward you, and you can feel what happens when you activate here as opposed to just letting it kind of hang. So hang out. So pulling your left heel as much as you can toward you to create the sensation. And you can go as far as you want. When you feel like you've activated enough, then you stop and you just stay there and breathe. And then from here, inhale, lift your hips, and now turn your hands toward the back of the mat. And we're going to sink down onto our left knee, so doing the opposite side now. Hands aligned with your right foot. Your right knee is directly above your right ankle. And inhale to pull your heart forward, starting to activate into your left knee and feeling the elongation in your left hip flexor. As you exhale, begin to shift your hips back as you lift your right toes. Again, your hands can be on 2 blocks if you would like. And really activating into your right heel, pushing it down, pull your right hip back. And feel the length in your spine, so you're still pulling your chest forward. And then as you inhale, we're going to come back into supported low lunge, inhaling. And then exhale as we shift our hips back. Inhaling, again, it's almost as though you're trying to pull your body forward using your right heel as it drags against the mat, heart forward. And then exhale, hips back. Inhale, bending into our right leg again, right foot on the ground. We're going to lift our left knee, turn our left foot parallel, and then walk our hands to the middle of the mat. Feet parallel, right foot turning in. And then from here, inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward, your bum back. And then exhale, begin to push into your left hand this time and feel the rotation of your ribs before your gaze. And then add your gaze to it. So looking toward the right hand up toward the sky. And finding space in between your arms, then begin to spiral your right arm behind you. You can bring your fist onto, let it rest on your tailbone, or you can wiggle your hand, your right hand, so it finds something to grab onto, whether that's your clothing or the inside of your left leg. Pushing the crown of your head forward to get some space in your spine, and then exhaling, begin to soften your left elbow. Allow your body to fall forward a little bit, and leaving your left hand on the ground here. You can just hang out, or you can bring your left hand to the outside of your right ankle, right calf. Begin to twist using your left hand to gently, gently pull yourself, looking up toward the sky or the ceiling if you're inside like I am. And then looking back down toward the mat. From here, release your hands, bring your hands to the mat. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale, you're going to lift your left toes and turn them toward the top right corner of your mat. Bend into your left leg and rotate, coming up onto your right heel. Leave your hands down as support on the mat. Soft bend in your right knee, so it's like you're trying to drag your right heel toward you. And just breathe into it a little bit. Soften your face. We carry so much tension in our jaw. And then on an inhale, gently lift yourself back up. Feet are parallel, walking your hands to the middle of the mat. From here, begin to shift your toes outward and your heels inward. So you're trying as best possible to keep them all in one line. You might find that for stability's sake, you can have your heels slightly back, and that's going to create a little bit more of a solid base. But you can play around with keeping everything aligned, and then coming up, hands onto your thighs. Really push into your hands, and now try to pull your whole pelvis forward to make your spine a little bit more vertical. So the tendency here is that your bum goes back and your head's forward, and that's obviously going to help with balance. But we want to play around with really getting into this lengthening in our inner thighs, pulling our shoulders back, lifting the crown of our head up. And then you can play around always. The choice is yours. You can keep your hands on your thighs or interlace your fingers, push your palms forward. And then on an inhale, lift your arms, aligning them with your ears as much as possible. Now, push your palms up toward the ceiling, and even though you really don't want to, try to sink your bum a little farther down. If it doesn't feel wonderful, now, it should never be painful, but strengthening does not always feel fantastic. But breathe into it and see if you can stay calm in the uncomfortable scenario. Inhale to lengthen your legs. Re-parallel your feet and let yourself fall forward. Take a deep inhale into your nose and exhale everything out. One more time like that. Inhale. And exhale everything out. Inhale, coming back up through center, lifting yourself halfway. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Rotate your toes so they're facing forward, and again, shift yourself down onto your right knee. This time, bring your left hand right onto the inside of your left knee. Your left leg, sorry. So you're pushing your left leg into your left arm, and your hands are completely aligned with your left foot. And then softly bend into your elbows. And you can feel, again, this elongation in your right hip flexor. If it feels okay, then you can start to gently come down onto your forearms, or you might want to bring your forearms onto a block to give you a little more height. But doing this, if you're rounding your spine a lot, then just stay up on your hands, and you can play around with bending your elbows. But while we're here, and you feel this lengthening in your right hip flexor, try to gently shift, even just a teensy tiny bit, your bum toward the back of the mat, just a little tiny bit. And then pay attention to if your body feels like it's spilling over to the left side of the mat, which it tends to do, and try to keep yourself more in the center. And feel welcome to also move around a little bit here. So as you shift your bum toward the back of the mat, you can maybe go forward again, just to be curious about what the different movements what sensations they bring into your body. So I really believe that it's important to explore and to be curious. You can even try to move your hips a little bit from right to left to feel that sensation of spilling over to the left, and then feeling what it's like to recenter and align in the middle of the mat. And then from here, inhale, coming back up, lengthening your arms. If you were on your forearms, then walk back up onto your hands. Lift your right knee and turn. So again, your right foot is flat toward the back of the mat. Keeping your left hand on the floor next to your left foot, begin to inhale, lift your right hand up to the sky. Now, if this is too much, you can have your left hand on a block, or you can also have your forearm on your left leg. So whatever is working for you today, then please choose that. And if it feels awesome having your left hand on the ground like this, really close your left leg into your left arm. If you would like to be even further curious and explore a little bit more, you might start to take your right hand behind you. So like we did before, you can bring your right fist onto your tailbone, or you can keep wiggling your right hand, potentially taking a bind. So left arm coming under your left leg, and your fingers somehow finding each other. And if they don't find each other, that's fine, just play with it. If they do find each other, then your left knee is still aligned over your ankle. Push the crown of your head forward, pull your right shoulder back, and if it's okay on your neck, you can begin to look up toward the sky. 2 more breaths. Wherever you are, be there fully, staying nice and present with your breathing. Begin to look down. Release your bind. If you took your bind, bring your hands to the mat and walk yourself to the center. Parallel your feet once more. Inhale as you lengthen yourself forward. And then as you exhale, fold forward, interlace your hands behind your tailbone, and then let your arms drop over you. Keep a soft bend in your knees here, really pushing into the outside of your feet, the outside edge of your feet, digging into the mat. Your fingers are soft. You're not gripping on for dear life. And then release your hands. Inhale, lift yourself halfway. And then exhale, walking back to the back of the mat with your hands, rotating your feet, and shifting onto your left knee. From here, bring your right arm to the inside of your right leg and really squeeze. So feel your right leg squeezing into your right arm. And you can choose here to drag your hands toward your left knee. Your left knee is activated. You're dragging it toward your hands and pull your heart forward. And you're already going to feel something here. If you want to feel a little bit more, then you might play around with bending your elbows, but all the while pulling your heart to the top of the mat and starting to shift gently your tailbone, your bum, just a little bit further back toward the back of the mat. If you have the space and you want to come down onto your forearms, then you can do that. Forearms are on blocks as well is an option. And you can also just stay on your hands with your elbows bent, all the while really squeezing your inner right leg toward your right arm. And continue to look beyond your mat. So not toward your hands, because then you're going to curve your back and you're not elongating anymore. But we want to keep looking. Our gaze is what's going to help us really pull ourselves and keep that lengthening going on. Relax your jaw, just in case you've got your teeth clenched, which is a possibility. Try to relax. Find a little bit of space separating the top part of your jaw from the bottom part of your jaw. And then coming out of it, coming up onto your hands, if you went down on your forearms, you're going to push into your hands, push into your left toes, and then lift your left knee. Bring your left foot parallel to the back of the mat, which was at one point in this practice the top of the mat. Right hand on the inside of your right foot, and inhale, squeezing your right leg into your right arm. Lift your left hand up to the sky. Again, options here. You can come onto fingertips, hand on block, right forearm to right leg. Other options, going in the opposite direction. If you want to dig in a little bit deeper, then you can, pushing into the left side of your left foot, start to wrap your left arm behind you, bringing fist onto tailbone, or you can keep wiggling fingers somewhere. It's hard to tell where they go right here. Drop your body and bring your right hand in the space below your right leg. And you can try to take a bind, try to see if your fingertips can clasp. And if they do, great, clasp your fingers and then try to move the crown of your head forward, push into the left side of your left foot. If they don't meet, then just keep trying. Keep pulling your left shoulder back. Relax your face. When we meet intensity, just try to breathe as calmly as possible. And then after your next exhale, begin to look down, release your hands, and then walk your hands back to the middle of the mat. For a moment, just let yourself hang with your knees slightly bent, crown of your head making its way toward the mat. Take a nice deep inhale into your nose, and then exhale everything out. Inhale, come up halfway, and then exhale. We're going to walk your feet toward the center of the mat, and then come down onto your knees. sit back for a moment, so sitting on your heels, and let your hands rest on top of your thighs. Allow your eyes to close, and let's reconnect. So reconnecting to your body, trying to smooth out your breathing, smooth out that expression in your face. Allow yourself to feel fully. Allow your breathing to start to slow down. Maybe your heartbeat had gained a bit of speed, so feeling that that begins to slow down as well. And then very softly beginning to open your eyes and bring your hands forward. We're going to shift onto our bottom, so coming into a seated position. Feet on the mat in front of you, pushing into the mat firmly. Inhale to lengthen your arms. Pull your core in, activate your core, pulling your belly button in, and begin to roll down. So you're going to start at your tailbone. And let's just make this a really long and luxurious roll. So as you're rolling down, bring your chin toward your chest. Feel again that opening in between your shoulder blades as you really go slow. Try to really get into every movement, articulating every movement. You might feel a little bit of the shakes. That's great. That means we are strengthening, and that's what we want to do. For another 5, if your feet come off the mat, then push them in strongly. You can also put a block in between your knees and squeeze. That's going to help. 4, 3. Lift your shoulder blades up. 2. And then 1. Allow yourself to spill onto the mat. It always feels so good to let yourself relax after a little bit of effort. Feet on the mat, you can bring your hands to your belly, your knees resting on one another. Feel your shoulders relaxing back into the mat. Take a deep inhale into your nose. And then exhale everything out. From here, begin to push into your left foot. Lift your right foot up to the ceiling. And you're going to, pushing into your left foot, lift your hips up, shift them slightly over to the right, and put them back down. And then cross your legs. So right leg over your left leg. And then allow your legs to drop over to the left. Open your arms. And if you'd like, you can bring your left hand onto the outside of your right knee. Try to really spill into this rotation. Just let everything drop. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel that tenseness in your hands drop away, your hips, your legs, your face. Your next inhale, coming back to center. Uncross your legs, bring your right foot to the mat, lift your left foot up, and this time lifting your legs, shift your bum a little bit to the left, cross your left leg over your right leg, and then legs can drop over to the right. Right hand can rest softly without gripping, just resting on your left knee. Pull your left shoulder back toward the mat. And again, really spill into this. Feel your body moving into a quieter space. On your next inhale, come back to center. And now draw both legs in toward your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Bring your forehead toward your knees, lifting your shoulders up, and just squeeze yourself into a tight little ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. As much as you can, as much as you need to. And then on your next inhale, lengthen everything out, still staying lifted off the ground. Spread your fingers wide, spread your toes wide, lift everything up. Inhale. And then exhale. Let your body drop. No more movement. Let your breathing come back to normal as you slide your way, drift your way into Shavasana. So no more action, no more resistance. This is just absolute stillness. Letting your body fully sink into wherever it needs to go. Letting whatever bubbled up in the practice be released, get digested, get absorbed. And I invite you to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you can, as long as you have. And just let your body absorb all the different sensations as they pop up. And then when you're ready, you can integrate back into your day. And I really thank you for being here and for practicing. And I hope you have a beautiful day.